Hey everyone, it's Richard Mellowfan here, bringing you guys another old school album review. And today we're going to be looking into this album's 15th anniversary, and it's from, in my honest opinion, one of the most underrated metalcore bands of all time. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about Three in the Eyes of Fire by Unearth. This was the band's third album, released on August 8th, 2006 through Metal Blade Records. Now, this, of course, follows up their previous album, which came out in 2004, called The Oncoming Storm, which, in my honest opinion, is my favorite Unearth album. And coming off of the success of Oncoming Storm, I feel like that pretty much what got Unearth sort of well known. But with this album, Three in the Eyes of Fire, they changed up a little bit of things compared to the Oncoming Storm. For one thing, that like the Oncoming Storm had some clean vocals, but here it's just a brutal album. Like there's some moments of like melody, but mostly in like the instrumentation. But there's no clean vocals from Ken Susi. In fact, he doesn't even do it again until Darkness in the Light. But just like production is great. They've worked with Terry Date again, and I believe he produced The Oncoming Storm. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's just dive right into it. Vocally, Trevor Phipps has like a great vocals on here. Or like he just develops goes at every album. I think Unearth does. He just does really well. And just like the guitar playing from Buzz McGrath and Ken Susi just are really great. Just showcase a lot of great riffs and just like really shreddy lead stuff. Which actually incorporates a lot of like melody and like the instrumentation, like I mentioned. The bass is a little bit audible from John Slow-Maggard, their former bassist, and like I mentioned before, he did piano a little bit on the last album, and just the drumming from former drummer Mike Justine, like he pretty much keeps the beat. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is The Glorious Nightmare. Now, right off the get-go, it starts off with a great snare drum roll from Mike, and then it just explodes into a great riff, and then Trevor just blasts his way through the verse. And this is a great song, and this is pretty much everything you would expect for hope for in the opener. Ear-splitting drums, just rapid-fire riffing, and a really great energy all the way through, sprinkled with sort of like Unearth's the trademark breakdowns in it, and especially like the climax at the end where Trevor's screaming the line "tear me down" over and over until it is burned in your memory. And I feel like this is pretty much what the album stands for. Next up is Giles. Now, it begins with a great scream from Trevor and an even better riff than the one that began the album. Some really great guitar work all throughout this song with some harmonized leads at all, and about almost a minute in, and it has like one of the best breakdowns I've heard it in here, and with Trevor screaming like "crushed by fear, more stone, more weight for Corey." Hey, and if you don't headbang to this, you probably just don't know what it is. And I feel like the song about it talks about Giles Corey, who is a farmer who is pressed to death by stones when he refused to plead to witchcraft, which I think is a really interesting concept. Next up is March of the Mutes. Now, this kind of has almost kind of like some really great harmonized guitars that kind of remind me a little bit of Iron Maiden, and it just winds its way through some more great riffs and a great breakdown, some grinding riffs and shout. It's another strong song. Sanctum of Brothers is up next, and this song just hits you in the face with some riffs and is pretty much better than Giles. It has like that same trait that makes you just want to start windmilling your hair furiously, and the verse and chorus are some great material, and the chorus contains some really great harmonized melodic lines which just sound amazing. Another track for everyone that is a fan of metalcore should listen to. Then we move on to The Devil Has Risen. Now, The Devil Has Risen is just a very kind of thrashy, like it just continues that trend for just some great ear-shattering riffs and some really fucking sick breakdowns. The Time Was Mine. Now, this shows off some of the band's incredible guitar skills, and this features a lead guitar work that kind of sounds almost kind of like something from like Symphony X. It's just a great example of the band's talent, and it's another fucking great song. Next up is Unstoppable. Now, at this point, some people might begin to be put off as the album kind of starts to repeat itself, but I can't help but like this song, and it just really digs into the band's sound. And the end of the song is pretty much saved with some unexpected clean guitar parts and some cool drum beats. It's nice to see that the guys know when to like change things up a little bit. Next song on the album is called So It Goes, and similar to Unearth's last album, this is kind of released as a single song, and it has a catchy lead guitar parts and some really great lyrics that makes this song a great listen. And you just am I honest opinion, has one of the best guitar solos to date, and it's another strong suggestion for me. Imposter Kingdoms is up next. Now, I feel like since the last track was a little bit lighter, this song just kicks in with some of the heaviest stuff on this album so far. This pretty much seems a little bit less mature than some of their other stuff, but it's just really good to have a song that you just can't help but headbang to just because of just the pure aggression. Blood Dry is the next song. Now, what can I say about this song that hasn't been said before? In short, this song just contains some of the most impressive guitar work, really great solos, lyrics, and just everything. And the drums have some really great parts, and then the end of the song just has some of the sickest breakdowns of all time. Just waiting until the end is just certainly worth it. And then we close things out with Big Bear and the Hour of Chaos. Now, kind of similar to the last album, The Oncoming Storm, this album has a little bit of an instrumental song on here. While it didn't end the song on the strongest of notes, and I think it's a pretty solid track. It even had some pianos, which gives the closing track and kind of like a very intimate and beautiful feel. And it's a weird way to end this album, but it's not really a bad one. Now, overall, Three in the Eyes of Fire is a good follow-up to The Oncoming Storm. Now, if I were to give this album a score, I'm going to give this album a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.